You clicked on this video, then you're looking to make a serious change with your physique. I will be showing you a step-by-step guide, laying everything out and teaching you the easiest way to get shredded. We're going to focus on 4 different topics throughout the video, starting with explaining the calorie deficit, then moving on to nutrition, which is the most important factor of the cutting phase. Then we will focus on training and finally tie everything together in the end by explaining a proper cardio protocol. By the end of this video, you're going to have a clear path on how you can implement these within your own fitness journey. Being in a calorie deficit is the first and foremost thing we must ensure when beginning a cutting phase. To begin your initial deficit, I usually aim for 300 to 500 calories below my maintenance. If you weren't doing any cardio during your off season or at all prior, another way to begin your deficit is by adding 30 minutes of cardio each day and eating at maintenance calories. I usually prefer taking a slower approach when it comes to cutting, and I usually increase my deficit over a 12 to 16 week period. I do this by increasing my cardio every 1 to 2 weeks by 5 or 10 minutes and decrease my calories by 5 to 10% every 2 or 3 weeks. I feel like the biggest issue people have when dieting is staying consistent and having discipline. It's easy to lose sight of your goals when your friends are having fun on the weekends, going out to eat, whatnot. You can still enjoy these things and have fun, but you need to have the self-control and establish a good balance between staying on track with your goals and having fun. You want to have a good distribution of your macronutrients. I typically follow a high protein diet with moderate to low carbs. The breakdown is roughly 40 to 50% protein, 35 to 45% carbs, and 15% fat. For example, I'm 180 pounds, 5'6", with my maintenance being roughly around 3,000 calories. My initial macro breakdown is going to be anywhere from 300 to 375 grams of protein, 260 to 337 grams of carbs, and 50 grams of fat. I recommend as you go deeper into your deficit, you implement carb cycling. It's not necessary, but it's drastically helped me in the past break through plateaus. Additionally, you want to make the most out of the foods that you're consuming during your cutting phase. I suggest staying away from processed foods altogether. You can get away with eating protein pancakes, other anabolic recipes during the initial cut, but as your calories start getting really low, you want to maximize the amount of quality and nutrition from each meal. Chicken breast, lean ground beef, salmon, oatmeal, cream of rice, fruits and veggies, all going to be your best friends during a cutting phase. These are a few tips that I implement during a cutting phase to help curb my cravings and suppress my appetite. By intermittent fasting in the morning and waiting until 12 to 1 p.m. to eat your first meal, this is going to shorten your eating window. Now, instead of waiting 3 to 4 hours in between each meal, you only have to wait 1 or 2. I usually drink plenty of water throughout the morning with black coffee or tea, as the caffeine helps suppress your appetite. Also, take advantage of low-calorie, high-volume options such as vegetables. This is going to help keep you full and satiated throughout the day without not having too many cravings. Also, take advantage of zero-calorie sodas, flavored water, sugar-free gum. These are going to really help curb your craving for sweets. The goal for the cutting phase is to maximize fat loss but preserve the most amount of muscle mass. This is why I typically take a longer approach when cutting, and I stay away from hard, aggressive cuts, which you may be more susceptible to losing strength gains. I follow the principle of low volume, high intensity training during my workouts, and I prioritize progressive overload. Train hard, train with intent, and train to failure. There is not much difference between my training in the off season compared to a cutting phase. The goal here is to preserve the gains that were made during the off season, which is done so through the same methods that were used to get them. Hard training with brutal effort. It's important to realize that your recovery may be affected through your dieting, and your training and volume may need to be adjusted. I think the most important thing is that you ensure safety and avoid injury at any point possible. Cardio is to be used as a tool during your cutting phase and to help put you into a deeper deficit. I do cardio all year round, but if you're not like me, you must implement it during a cutting phase. I have a cardio tier list which ranks the different forms of cardio, starting with the Stairmaster being the best. Incline treadmill comes next, and finally the exercise bike. Theoretically, you could do any sort of cardio you want, whether that be jump roping, playing basketball with your friends, or going on a run. I tend to stick with the Stairmaster or incline treadmill because these are the most consistent and have the least amount of variables. I'll typically start my cutting phase by adding in cardio 5 to 6 times a week for 20 to 30 minutes. I prefer doing my cardio fasted, and I'll take a fat burning supplement such as yohimbine. I do this to set myself up for the best potential to tap into my fat stores for energy. Every 1 to 2 weeks, I'll increase my cardio by 5 to 10 minutes. This will push me deeper into a deficit as we continue to lower food. think the biggest reason that people struggle with losing weight is because of discipline. You need to ask yourself how bad you want it. If you could stay consistent throughout the 12 to 16 week period and follow everything that I laid out, you'll be shredded in no time. It really is that simple, but the hardest part is following the plan and having the discipline to say no when it matters. Going out to eat with your friends, going to social event, these are all opportunities where you're going to be tested. I'm not the one to say completely remove these things out of your life, because having a balance between a social life and the gym is extremely important. Make sure to have fun, but know when to take a step back and say no.